Yesterday is 2 years since Ukraine got invaded. It all started unexpected at 4 a.m. with explosions, similar to how Hitler invaded Poland. This particle from a missile that Russians launching on Ukrainian cities almost every day. Same size and population as Los Angeles. United States is a big ally for Ukraine. Here in LA, I'm curious, what do people think about Ukraine? Do they want to help, or are they tired of hearing about Ukraine? Let's find out.
It's unbelievable that it's been 2 years. Ukraine is suffering so deeply, and the reality is that the suffering is just going to go past the borders of Ukraine if this war doesn't stop. And it's not about peace and no war, it's about getting Russia to get out. And without Ukraine having its full sovereignty to 1991 borders, then the world is going to substantially change in ways that we all don't even know.
Sometimes I have to turn off the news because I can't stand it. It's not really a war. It's mass murder.
The Russians, completely untrustworthy. What they did was very self-centered, nationalistic. Can't really say anything positive.
It's heartbreaking. We have family in Ukraine. My husband's family, they're in Lviv. So they had to shelter about 40, 50 people when the invasion started. And they still get air raids. They still get air sirens. You know, my cousin, my husband's cousin, she had to raise 2 very small children. One, his age 10, in all of this. So it's very heartbreaking.
Are you okay that US money is going to support Ukraine?
Absolutely.
Why?
Because it's defending the values of America, and that's where we should be spending money. And that money actually is even mostly staying in the United States to help the infrastructure of defending freedom.
How it stays? Can you describe that?
Most of it's going to manufacturing jobs and what's within the defense industry.
Some support is definitely good. I think that there's also a lot of issues here in America that I think also need to be dealt with. So I think finding a balance to where we can help where help is needed, but not neglect things in our own country. I think finding that balance would be good.
I'm pretty much out here in the street because I don't want help from the government. That's the way it is. I don't want no help from the government. I want to do it on my own. I don't feel that if I can make it and get by, even if it's just down here in the street, I'm doing it without the help of the government. I'm not using their resources. If they're buying food and utilities, helping them pay for utilities and repairing stuff that's been shot at and bombed, putting up a big old wall if they need to between the war zones, I believe that in America sending the money.
We have quite a few Abrams tanks in supply, waiting to be decommissioned. I think we should probably give those to Ukraine so they can have a full fighting force of M1 Abrams, and so they can actually make a difference and push into those towns and cities that are currently being held by the Russians.
So, are you okay that United States sending money to Ukraine?
Yes, I think it's a good idea. Fully support it.
I think that the United States really fell down in its responsibility to protect Ukraine in the first place and make sure that this didn't happen, because we did give our word that we would do that. We can't control Russia, but we can control what we did, and we spent hundreds and hundreds of, probably millions of, at least millions, maybe hundreds of millions to train Ukrainian forces to prevent this kind of attack, and then we actually didn't prevent it.
Absolutely. In fact, I understand there's now a website where money can be directly sent to Ukraine. Do you happen to know that website?
24, United 24.
United 24.
Yeah.
Okay, I will write that down. That's easy, United 24. I've already gone to a concert here for Ukraine, but it was right after the war started, and it was in downtown Los Angeles. And one of my very best and oldest friends, she and I went to that concert to raise money for Ukraine.
Yeah, I think that's like super okay because like, you know, we're part of like a nation and like we should like be like helping out like our fellow nations and like again, it's like obviously devastating what's going on there. We, like,
yeah. Why? Because they're the good guys and what Russia's doing is pretty messed up.
Absolutely. Our government, between the Republicans primarily, and I'm a Republican, but they're like not being supportive. The government should be supporting Ukraine faster and more vigorously.
The main target for Putin, to my understanding, I mean, I feel like at first his target was probably to take all of Ukraine, and I think as the war went on he realized that was less and less possible, but I think that right now he definitely still wants Crimea, and he's gonna just do what he can to avoid too much loss but still capture as much land as he's capable of doing so.
At the end of the day, he wants to take the entirety of Ukraine. That's clear. It's been clear since the start in Crimea. They've been trying to fund separatist movements, which is, in reality is just the equivalent of Russians going there, training the populace, and then having them fight for them while they're supplying them. So they've been supplying the separatists in Donetsk and Luhansk for a long time. So like I said, we need to continue tripling as much aid as we can provide without jeopardizing our own capability to fight wars and win. I think we need to continue supplying.
probably just taking over and conquering. I would say, like, you know, overall just like trying to take back like Eastern Europe and like stuff like that, which is like again awful, but like, and just not caring about like people's lives or like humanity at all.
The main target for Putin is back to Russian Empire, and that includes Ukraine and other nations.
I don't believe that Putin wants to occupy all of Ukraine. I don't think he even wants to occupy most of Ukraine. I think he wants to have, just like America wants, a very strong border with friends like Mexico and China, or sorry, Mexico and Canada. You know what I mean? I think he wants to be able to trust the people on those borders, and I think that's what most folks that consider themselves more of a military power want, right? So unfortunately, that's the opposite of the direction that things are going.
I don't even know. Why? Is it for the minerals? I think maybe it's for the natural resources, because Ukraine has a lot of minerals that Russia's missing.
I don't know that he has a rational target. I think it's about power and control. I don't think he has ambitions for Ukraine, or he wouldn't be destroying it. So I don't know. I think he wants to own it like a new house or something, and he doesn't respect the commitments and convictions of the Ukrainian people for independence. He has no respect for that, obviously. So I don't know if he wants anything for Ukraine. It's all about him.
He wants the old Russia, USSR to begin again. He's trying to live a revisionist history, and his ego is all about him and what he thinks the history will reflect on him, a Russian history.
I think that Putin is afraid of becoming an enemy of too many large nations that he won't be able to combat. I think he wants to play his cards right so that he can do as much as he can in Ukraine without upsetting too many other foreign nations, and I think that he's gonna just keep doing that until enough backlash has come from other large powers.
I don't know. He's like a demon, man. I don't know what he's afraid of. He's like this immortal demon. Who knows? I'm gonna get shot for this.
The guy's got a huge ego. He would do almost anything to succeed.
Putin's definitely afraid of losing control, losing power. That's why he has the such a security apparatus and state inside of Russia, and that's why it's clamping down even more. Because during the beginning of the war, there was a lot of protest, and there was some worry with the Wagner Group as well that it would all get overthrown. And ever since that all got, how do I say it, taken care of by him, the apparatus state, the security apparatus and state has been getting more and more secluded around the individual. So for example, like North Korea, they're becoming more like North Korea.
Do you think Ukraine can win this war?
I think, yeah, with like, if we more so like unite each other and like less argue about if we should like unite and just like, you know, help one another out, like I think like, yeah, there is potential that like we can like conquer.
Absolutely. It's undoubtable.
I think with everybody's help, yeah, it's definitely possible, for sure.
It's an uphill battle. They need to be completely funded. It's basically a proxy war between the West and Russia, so they need to keep funding it. The thing that the Russians have is they have sheer numbers. They can just throw bodies at the Ukrainians, and there's only so many Ukrainians. It's that's the only thing that's preventing Ukraine from truly winning.
I think it depends on how you define them winning the war, but I don't think that Ukraine is going to be conquered by Russia. So if that's how you define them winning it, I think they will win it. But I also think that Russia is just a much bigger country with many more resources. So I think that the longer it gets dragged out, it kind of favors Russia in that aspect, because they just have more manpower and they're just they're a bigger war machine than Ukraine is. So I think that it really depends on just how long it goes on for and what the goals are for each country.
If we supply them with the munitions that they need and proper training as well, I do think that they have the capability to win the war, yes.
How to stop the war? Unfortunately, all wars basically eventually stop through negotiation. So unless Ukraine is, and I don't think that getting Crimea back is going to happen in years, but maybe decades. So there has to be a different approach. And I think we've lost sight of the fact that even in very difficult situations like this, far worse enemies than Ukraine and Russia have learned to dialogue and find a peaceful way forward.
Do you think that Trump can stop it?
I mean, I think he can stop it. I don't think it'll stop on terms that are beneficial to Ukraine. It's complicated, right? But stopping the war isn't everything. But something like a lasting peace has probably got to be more of the...
Any words for Ukraine?
Yeah.
God bless you. Hang tough. I wish that Jesus protect everyone there. I don't believe that America should send in troops for Ukraine, because if Ukraine wants to be independent, then they should fight for it. You know, I'm not a big fighter myself, but they should get, you know, they should hold tough.
I would say that although it may seem like very hard right now, and like I don't even have like an ounce of like what's going on, or like I do, but like it's just like I am not going through what you are going through, and you are so strong for that. And yeah, I think that's like to like unite and like be there for one another. That's like very good. Like, and we can get through this.
Faith in God, that and pray, and you know, hoping that the Russians will lose and the righteousness will succeed.
Words to Ukrainians. I mean, it's hard to say. I feel like I can't really imagine like what's going on there and like what the people are going through. But I mean, I don't know. I guess just try to stay strong, try to deal with all the adversity in whatever ways they can. I know it's probably shallow sentiment, but I mean, just keep fighting and do what they can to, I don't know, get out of this as quick as possible and to try to minimize the lives lost.
Keep fighting for freedom, you know. Keep fighting for freedom. Kill your oppressor, right? That's the name of the game. Don't stop. Don't stop.
You're gonna make me cry. I have mixed feelings because if the United States doesn't keep its commitment to Ukraine, Ukrainian people will pay for that. So my hope is that the United States will do it initially committed to do to Zelensky when he first came to the United States.
I wish for you and your family like all the best. I hope some resolution is reached, because like this is ridiculous and violent and like sad. It's unnecessary. I don't know what the Russians and Putin are thinking. I have no idea. That guy's insane, but I don't know.
That's fine.
But
Thank you for your...
But I want you and your family to be safe, and all of Ukrainians to be safe for sure.
I have family on the Russian side of the border, and like the Russian people, a lot of them are really good, but the government is really messed up, and it's not right what they're doing. And everybody in Russia is like so brainwashed by Putin. They think like, oh, they're liberating Ukraine. That's what like my 98-year-old great grandma thinks is happening. Like, oh, we're just helping Ukraine. It's the craziest brainwashing. So that sucks.
This started way longer than just 2 years ago. Even 10 years ago, when Russia invaded eastern Ukraine to punish Ukrainians for choosing a Western future during the Maidan protests. And as many of you know, in reality, Ukraine has been fighting for its independence for hundreds of years. First from the Russian Empire and the Soviet Union, and today from the Putin regime. Congressman Sherman has stood with you all in this long fight. As they mentioned, he's a longtime member of the Ukrainian caucus and one of the first members to advocate for lethal aid to Ukraine during Russia's 2014 invasion, and he will continue to stand with Ukraine along with our office for as long as it takes.
I'm really thankful for the USA support. They give important weapon for self-defense, so my 13-year-old brother can sleep safely as many other kids. Without it, I might never see him again. Thank you. So this is the map of Europe. Can you show me where's Ukraine?
Okay. It's not a very good map.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm guessing it's here.
Yes, this is Ukraine. Yes.
See, you doubted me.
No, I just want to show you that how small Ukraine is and how big Russia is. Oh, they occupied, you see, this is Georgia.
Yes.
My father's country. And they occupied his house. He moved to Ukraine. And they occupied Ukraine as well. So I'm second generation refugee because of the Russians.